It was simply to run a secret war and effectively what the Russians call Department 13 or Black Ops.
Meet Paul Erasmus, a former security branch policeman hired to wage a secret war against enemies of the apartheid government. The 62-year-old reveals some of the tactics the Stratcom unit used to try and destroy Winnie Mandela's reputation.
It worked something like this. When he would go to a party or meeting and there'd be alcohol involved, I would, whether she was drunk or not, I would say that she was drunk. And this type of stuff eventually evolved into letters that I would drop on the press, locally and internationally, that Winnie was a hopeless drunkard. She was unstable. She was having relationships with everything that came along, and for good measure I included Zinzi. And actually wrote pieces which were believed, which were outrageous. In fact, when I read them now, I can't even believe it that Winnie and Zinzi went on these drunken brawls together. And then on the political side as well, the whole thing was to drive divisions between her and, of course, the party.
The whole operation was designed to spread false news about her with the hope of discrediting the entire ANC. But for the unit to succeed, it needed solid information about Madikizela Mandela's every move. Erasmus says the people who helped gather top-level intelligence on the struggle stalwart were those closest to her, members of the infamous Mandela United Football Club.
I would get first-grade intelligence from Soweto. You must understand that Winnie's house was bugged, telephones were bugged, posts were monitored. She was under surveillance almost continually. And I'm going to tell you something now which is a fact, and I've said it before. The entire soccer club and literally everybody that surrounded Mama Winnie were security branch informers. Wouldn't you think otherwise? And I'm including Stompie Sepai. And I believe, but I'll get to that. So everything Mama Winnie did was conveyed to me. And my job was to sit and work to formulas and get this stuff out.
From a propaganda point of view, Erasmus says the infiltration of the Mandela United Football Club was their most successful operation on Madikizela Mandela.
I'm telling you this as a fact. They were all working for the security branch, including Winnie's aide-de-camp then was a woman by the name of Zeliswa Falati. And the death started when the one found out about the other. And Jerry Richardson actually admitted this in court. He didn't go as far to say that he worked for the security branch, because I don't think, look, he's dead now, isn't he? As far as I know. Anyway, I don't care. The fact is that he found out about Stompie, and Stompie was told about him. Now, it's very possible that security branch Soweto poured the petrol in the fire and let them destroy each other.
Erasmus says Madikizela Mandela was targeted partly because the nationalist government had realized that it was close to losing power and would soon be forced to enter into negotiations with the ANC. So, authorities began looking more closely at the ANC leadership.
And they saw people, moderates in the ANC, that they could deal with and cut deals with. And this is quite ominous. And we were lectured about this very openly. I attended one seminar after the next. And the whole word that they were using was, we've got to become pragmatic now. We've got to neutralize the radicals in the ANC. The names were there on the list. And it's amazing that it actually worked out this way. Chris Harney was murdered. Winnie was so discredited and sidelined across the board. And the people that they saw as as moderates that they could deal with, like our ex-president Mr. Thabo Mbeki, and many others, were the people that actually eventually emerged as the leading faction, where the others were neutralized. I think the biggest fear was that the populist element of people like Winnie and Peter Makabe, and of course Chris Hani, the communist label on him was terrible.
Years later, Paul Erasmus would come face to face with Madikizela Mandela and confess to the crimes he'd perpetrated against her. The former apartheid agent says he later became friends with Mama Winnie, and that's how he refers to her now. Olim Gambi, Johannesburg.